the answers to life's biggest questions are hidden in plain sight? Let's uncover them together. Welcome to the Divine Sorcerer, where we bridge the gap between science and spirit. Join me on a journey through iatromathematics, witchcraft, alchemy, biochemistry, and astrology. We'll explore the ancient and the modern, the mystical and the scientific. But this isn't just about what I've learned. It's about opening your mind to new possibilities and challenging the conventional wisdom you've been taught. We're diving into controversial topics and offering fresh perspectives, aiming to elevate your consciousness and spark your curiosity. From the wonders of the cosmos to the secrets of ancient texts, we'll uncover the hidden knowledge that can transform the way you see the world. So, are you ready to embark on this enlightening adventure? Hit that subscribe button and join the Divine Sorcerer community, where we explore the unknown and rise to a higher state of understanding. Let's unlock the secrets of the universe, one discovery at a time. See you in the next video. Stay curious, stay enlightened.
Hey guys, what is up? Oops. Alright. And so I should be live. Let's see here. Alright. Is it not working? Can you guys not hear me? Am I not live? What is going on here? Nope. Nope. Okay. Why am I so blurry? What is the deal there? And why am I not moving? What is the deal there? Alright, this here isn't moving. I'm not showing live. Oh yeah, I am showing live. Alright. This here is oh yeah, I am showing live. Alright, well you got voice. Alright, so according to that I do. So what is up with this? Alright, you can shut off now. I have voice. Alright, hey guys, what is up? It's getting hot in here. Alright, so you guys should be able to hear me according to my phone on my YouTube. I can hear you. So why we're not? Okay, here we go. Alright. Alright, so that seems to be working. Give it a minute for you guys to come on in here. And tonight we will be talking about The principle, the Hermetic principle of cause and effect. I think a lot of people, if they would study some of these principles, there'd be a lot of a lot less passing the blame. When we understand that the things we do now have an effect, a ripple effect, entropy, right? And depending on that effect, it could be good or bad. Just like we talked about last week with polarity. The measure of the swing to the right is the same measure of the swing to the left, right? Same thing with cause and effect. What you cause today could have one or more effects later on down the line. People are so quick to blame other people, not realizing what they caused is what they're getting. It's karma, basically. Like, there's no better way to put it than it's straight out karma, and she is a bitch. But technically speaking, it's the principle of cause and effect. It's the energy, it's the intent that you put out there, which is why I tell a lot of people, when I'm talking to them and they're like, "Oh, you're a sorcerer, so you do all kinds of black magic and this and that," and I'm like, "Yeah, I do. Why?" And they're like, "Oh, so you do voodoo and hoodoo?" I'm like, "No, I don't do Santa Maria. I don't do hoodoo, and I don't do voodoo. I don't. I'm not into the negative aspects of magic. I'm into the more nature, energetic, scientific part of witchcraft. I like the higher vibration, like the blessing, the incantations, calling on the energy for said things. Never really dark. I've done dark magic like the whole time going through the academy and stuff. Like, I know how to do it. I just choose not to, right? Because that's not my path. And so, like, in a later date, we can get into that. How you know your path and this and that, and you know all that in itself comes with shadow work, guys. Same very thing that I've been trying to relate to a lot of people that I talk to. Same thing that I know there's Christians. I know there's Christians that watch my page, right? Same thing that you or Jesus told you when he was walking the earth, to look within. When he went into the desert, he didn't actually go physically fight Satan. Like that was all symbolic and analogy. He went into the desert and fought his conscience self, his self, like the good that, right? It's basically a symbolic way of looking at it. And so when you look inside, you can use your natal chart and certain things that you're born with, hence numbers and whatnot, to understand your path here, right? It just so happens that when I analyzed mine and decoded mine came out to I am to do this. My name is to be the divine sorcerer, and this is what I am to be studying. This is what I am to be doing. This is my journey, right? Showing people that you don't need that whole pharmacopoeia circle that's just sick care. It's not helping you. You're just paying to die, right? Now, I'm not saying I'm against all pharmaceuticals, right? There are some things out there where you need, like, you get into an accident, you need some pharmaceuticals, whether it be pain medicine or antibiotics or whatever, short period of time, and then you're off. You don't stay on. Medicine is not meant to be stayed on, unless it's like a controlled diabetes medicine or something. You know what I mean? Like, your liver's not working and it's in conjunction with like a whole bunch of other stuff. Then it's fine. If there's nothing herbal that'll help that, then maybe look into that part. But always look into the herbal, right? And always, I must stress, talk to your doctor. Don't just make your own decisions and think that you know that you're right. Because again, with the Hermetic principles, right, the cause and effect. The choices that you make today will have consequences down the road. That's the cause and effect, right? Same thing with any situation that you go to. Hey, baby. Okay, so I am getting people here. All right. Hopefully you guys can still hear me. My computer is kind of lagging right now because, like, for the last 4 days I've had it nonstop running Star Citizen. So I mean, the graphics card, the general processing, the whole 9 yards has just been like slammed because, as you guys know, I'm a gamer, right? And I play Star Citizen, and it's just a badass game, and I like to run around the verse and shoot people. But anyway, let's forget about what I'm doing. Let's get back to the cause and effect of things, right? When people make choices, you shouldn't just react to make the choice. It's always wise to stop and think, even if you have to give it some time, because you're one thing I've learned is the way you feel now might not be the way you feel 25 minutes from now. You know what I mean? So make your choices with a level head. And this is where mentalism, the first Hermetic principle, comes in, right? Like they're all interconnected, guys. So as we went from mentalism to correspondence to vibration to polarity to now cause and effect, like they all interconnect. But that's not the only part. As you see here, right? They interconnect with everything. Iatromathematics, witchcraft, tarot, numerology, sacred geometry, quantum physics, astrology, astronomy, alchemy. You know, like here, I'll move this for a minute so you can see this part of the picture. That's why I covered it up. It's just, people sitting at a temple. But you get the main gist of the conversation. All right. Everybody should be in. We got 4 watching. All right. That'll work for me. And so the principle of cause and effect, the 6th, we went through the 5th. This is the 6th. Says that every effect has a cause. Every cause has an effect. We just went through that. And what looks like chance is usually a cause we do not yet recognize. Hermetics gives this philosophical principle, while the other systems interpret how cause and effect appears across matter, mind, symbol. Let me make sure you hear that, symbol and spirit. A lot of what I've found today is they do a lot of things with symbolism. And if you can understand the symbolism, then you won't be so quick to be duped, right? And I'm going back to 2020 when it all started, like that whole thing, right? Wisen up, like start to use these principles because that symbolism was there. We all tried to warn you, and a lot of you didn't listen. You just went, govern me hard, big daddy. Like I was sadly depressed, but their cause, then we're seeing the effects now, right? A lot of people are getting sick. A lot of people are dying, right? A lot of people are pissed off. The effects of their cause. And so the core Hermetic meaning in the Kabbalion tradition, the principle teaches that nothing happens outside of law. and that there are many planes of causation, meaning cause can operate physically, mentally, spiritually, or symbolically. In practical terms, every action, thought, habit, and relationship becomes part of a chain of effects that also creates new causes. That makes the principle useful not only as a mystical law, but as a framework or a responsibility in a conscious creation, right? Because as we talked about with the correspondence, the intent, right? Which is why the first one, the mentalism, is so important because you need to have a clear mind to manifest that intent. And so when it comes to your practice or even if you're not a practicing practitioner and you're just somebody that doesn't do either or, right? Even when you cook, you're still practicing witchcraft, right? You're adding ingredients, you're mixing it around, you're creating, right? You're creating, you're manifesting what you want, you're creating. Right? It's the same thing with magic. It's just not with tangible items. It's with your mind and the energy. Like y'all believe in radio waves and like Wi-Fi and things you can't see, right? Which is delivering all kinds of information to your computer, to your phones. It's the same thing with magic when you work with these energies. Now, call it whatever you want. Call it evil. Call it science. Call it mystical or esoteric. Whatever you want to call it. Call it that. But this is how the world works, right? It works through energy, through symbolism, through numbers. And when you understand that it's all connected, because I know a lot of you think I'm crazy. I mean, my girlfriend and her mother think I'm crazy. But it makes sense, right? Maybe it's just us crazy people that it makes sense to. But it makes sense when you understand the human composition, the biology of a human, how you come from them same compositions as the stars, how it's all interconnected. You, like going back to the symbolism, right? It says in your Bible that there's no way to the Father except through the Son. Right? Why do you think they put that in there, right? Because there's no way back to source. There's no way back to where you came from except through the sun. Sun that shines, that gives you life, right? That provides photosynthesis for the plants that you eat, or the animals that eat the plants, animals that you eat that eat the plants, right? So it's all a big circle, like the Orobos, right? Again, symbolism. What's the Orobos? It, when you can understand the symbolism, you can understand what's really going on. This is why they kept it from people because they weren't learned. The learned this stuff was for people in secret societies and people that had money and it wasn't until we came out of the age of Pisces and I think it was Pisces, yeah, and into the age of Aquarius that table flipped. That polarity changed, right? People aren't dumbed down really anymore. They have all the information they need right here at their fingertips. Not even there, but just this thing that you carry around all day, right? Oh my God, how does this happen? You can type it in. Hey Google, how does this happen? You know what I mean? Don't do it, Google. Go away. But case in point, it's the energy, right? That energy that we were in is gone, and we're in a new. And we'll get to that after we're done with the cause and effect. I don't think you're crazy. I think you're eccentric. I'm gonna have to look that word up because I'm not quite sure what eccentric is. Maybe odd, one of a kind, limited edition. I don't know. But a lot of people will tell you that guy's weird or that guy's strange, or because I'm not like normal people. Like you guys, right? You guys go to pharmacy and you pay for your medicine, and your medicine is not, your medicine isn't even healing you. It's keeping you content, right? While other people make money. This is where we're different. I don't go to the pharmacy. I haven't been to the pharmacy in several years because I use things like this, right? A gram and a half of kratom, or you know, I'll use cannabis, right? Or I'll use green peppers and onions and garlic and hot peppers and all kinds of herbs like basil and cilantro and dill, and like that is my medicine. That's what I have counted on for the last 7 years. Where do you think all that stuff grew from? It grew from what? The sun made that possible for all that stuff to grow, right? And somehow all that energy entered me into the form of a glucose, which ended up going into ADP, which ATP, which then to ADP, back into ATP. Like it helped to move my muscle. So there's no way back to the source, but through that sun. That sun feeds us. And at the end of our flesh suit's life, our energy, this stuff that we're learning, right? The big old ball there with the energy, our aura, our intent, our essence, our spirit, right? We'll leave this flesh suit. We'll become I don't know, Alex, like an energy, like an aura, like an energy is the best way I can say. It's an energy. We're an energy, right? We feel nothing except love, and it's not a love like we know today or like we experience today. It's a whole totally different love. Like I can't explain it. It's comfort. It's security. It's not having to be in pain and wonder, and like you feel home, right? You know when you walk into the house and you're like, haha, I'm home. You kick your shoes off, right? It's like that. All that love. It's a totally different aspect on the other side of that veil, but it's all this energy, right? So when they talk about the mind and matter and the spirit, you know, one big thing they leave out is symbolism. I put up the center so I know what it is, right? And so start reading the symbolism. Like I showed you on my car. If you look at the back of my car with the Volkswagen symbol, it's got the numbers around it, right? Why? Because Volkswagen was Germans. Germans knew Volkswagen stands for the people's car, right? But more than that, if you look at the numbers around the Volkswagen, it's the same as the vortex. It's the same as the Fibonacci sequence, as the flower of life, right? Of creation. It's the symbolism and what it meant. Now I don't know if they knew that, but I'm pretty sure they did. They were Germans. That's why we sold their scientists, right? And so in the Catalan tradition, the principle teaches that nothing outside of the law that man can't mess with, that there's many planes of causation. And we talked about that. There's mind, there's symbol, and there's spirit, right? And so that's in relationships and your everyday action, like everything. And when you learn to understand this and incorporate it, like your way of life is just so different. And that's why people are like, this guy's strange, right? Because you understand this stuff, you see it. Like you can walk into a room and read the energy because you're familiar with energy. You can read patterns because you're familiar with the patterns. You're different, right? And so understanding these, Let's look at how they go into like quantum physics, how they go into quantum consciousness, even physiology, sociology. What about, sacred geometry, which is what I was just talking about with the Volkswagen symbol, right? Understanding how they incorporate into that. And then you can read the symbolism and be like, all these people don't even see it. But you do, because you read symbolism. You read patterns. You understand in a different way than normal people. They're not coming outside that box. They're stuck in that box still, right? So in quantum mechanics, well, quantum mechanics is the science of matter and light at atomic and subatomic scales, and it describes outcomes probabilistically rather than as simple classical certainty. Some interpretations introduce usual casual pictures, but mainstream physics still treats causality as valid. Even when outcomes are only statistically predictable, so in a Hermetic presentation, quantum physics can be framed as showing that cause and effect may be probabilistic, rational, and observer sensitive, without claiming that physics proves mystical intention itself. When it kind of really does, like, because you understand cause and effect, right? So the idea of quantum consciousness is speculative at not just establishing a science, but understanding your experience, your own experience, right? It is often used in esoteric writings to argue that observation, awareness, a lot of people don't have this today. They don't have awareness, right? And they don't have mind participating in reality making. They're not. They're too busy in their phone or going away with their daily life. They're not actually making decisions because they're going by what they've been programmed to understand. And so, in a hermetic system, as a casual factor in how experience is organized, even though it remains controversial in science, it is still the principle of mentalism. It's still clearing your mind and manifesting. Like that's the cause of to make the effect. It's the intuition that manifests, right? And so that's the quantum consciousness part of it. Let's switch it from the quantum conscience to biology and actual science, since we were just talking about science, right? Biology is full of causal chains. Genes influence proteins, proteins alter cells, cells shape tissues, and environments feed back into the organism. Complete systems research highlights that information feedback and scale matter, which fits the Hermetic idea of the cause and effect, become new causes in living systems. In this sense, biology provides a natural example of cause and effect in recursive, layered, and dynamic rather than in just one way. And so let's move on to physiology, right? Because now we got biology and science. Biology is the fool of causal chains. Okay, and that's basically what it is. You call something and it's a chain, right? Genes influence proteins. Proteins alter cells. We just did that one. That was the biology. Physiology shows cause and effect through homeostasis, where sensors, control centers, and effectors create feedback loops and maintain balance in the body. All right, I can go in deeper, but we'll stay at the surface level. A hormone level rising triggered a corrective response, and then reducing that level is a clear example of cause and effect. Effect, the new cause in motion. This makes physiology one of the cleanest scientific parallels to the Hermetic idea that effects become causes across cycles of change. Every cause has its effect. Every effect has its cause. And so we'll go into sociology. Sociology applies cause and effect to social behavior, institutions, norms, and group dynamics, often through social mechanism rather than simple one-step causes. A policy, belief, or a norm can shape behavior, and that behavior then feeds back into a larger culture, an economy, or an institution. So, in a Hermetic language, this shows that collective thought and action form causal chains, just like the biological or the physical system that we talked about for the physiology, right? Or I mean, for the sociology. Again, they all interconnect. I ain't even looking at chat. If you guys are talking to me, I'm sorry. Let me take a gander here, son. Okay, yes, I am hot. We've established that. I am hot. Hot in a good way. All right. And so now let's talk about my favorite, right? Because I can't get enough of this subject. Let's talk about sacred geometry and numerology, right? Sacred geometry treats shapes and numbers as reflections of an underlying order in creation, and numerology studies the symbolic meaning of numbers in a relation to reality. So within the Hermetic cause and effect model, geometry and number can be described as the pattern language of causation. Repeated forms imply repeated laws. That makes them useful for explaining why certain proportions, cycles, and ratios are seen in signatures of intelligent order in esoteric traditions. I guess we can group that along the astrology, astronomy, and alchemy because they really close, right? So astronomy gives the measurable motions of the planets and the stars, while astrology interrupts those motions symbolically as correlating with timing, temperament, and cycles. In a hermetic framework, astrology can be presented as a symbolic form of causation or correspondence, not as the same thing as physical astronomy. Alchemy adds the idea that when the two forces meet, both are changed, and the third result emerges, which fits the cause and effect chain as transformation rather than simple reaction. Um, show two. Two. All right. Whoever those two people are, thank you for tuning in. And those who watch this afterwards, thank you for tuning in. And so, like, there we go with the astrology, the astronomy, and the alchemy. And there we go with the symbolism. It's all about symbolism. All right, and now let's move on to the last part: the tarot, the witchcraft, and the iatromathematics, because they're all lumped into one, as you can see here on the screen. Right? They all have their position and energy transfer. Tarot can be framed as a symbolic cause and effect mirror. A spread does not cause fate, but it can reveal patterns, choices, and likely tarot can be framed as a symbolic cause and effect mirror. Oh, I mean, I read that wrong. Tarot can be framed as a symbolic cause and effect mirror. A spread does not cause fate, but it can reveal patterns. You guys watch me do that all the time in my paranormal investigating. Choices and likely consequences in a reflective way. Witchcraft often works through intention, ritual timing, and symbolic action. Now, when it talks about symbolic and ritual timing, that's when you use that in the iatromathematics, because that is all about ritual timing, right? You're using the herbs and the planet placements and the time, like it gets intense, right? But that's how they understood medical astrology back then. Let's see, where was I? Witchcraft often works through intention, ritual, timing, and symbolic action, which can be explained in Hermetic language as directing causes on the mental, the emotional, and the spiritual planes. Now, iatromathematics, as I just talked about, as a traditional number-based healing or diagnostic idea, fits the same thing by linking numbers, cycles, and proportions to health and balance. Though I should note that presenting this is like a historical esoteric rather than scientific medicine, because they'll tell you that, oh, there's not enough scientific evidence out there, it's just placebo, da 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 da. And that may be true, because if they look into this, they're going to lose money from that, right? I'm proof. Again, I should be dead by now, but I've been on this strict regimen for 7 years now. I've been to the doctors like 4 times now, and you know what they tell me? You know what the doctor just told me, like, I don't know, like a month ago? Take a guess. I don't know what you're doing, but keep doing it. Yes, doc. Thank you. Now I have to go get a blood test. We'll see how that turns out, right? But again, I don't go to the pharmacy. I use things like red yeast rice to lower your cholesterol, right? And again, I use things like kratom, things like cannabis, garlic, onion, all natural, all healing, right? All right, and so again, that intention goes back to the mind, and you can stack all these as you see on this thing. They're all interconnected. You can read them through symbolism. You can understand them through numerology, right? It's time to put the phones down, turn that TV off, right? Tell your friends you can't hang out. I know, it's a shame. Get on your computer or get into a book. Start understanding this stuff. I'm teaching you these hermetic principles so that you can take your life back. You don't have to be stuck in that same circle, paying to kill yourself. When they unroll this new pandemic, you'll be like, not today, motherfuckers, not today. We tried to warn you in 2020. Nobody wanted to listen. And now, 6 years later, everybody's freaking. Understand this, right? Just understand a little bit of this. Just a little bit. All right. And so Hermetic states that causation is universal and multi-layered. Quantum physics shows that causes may be probabilistic rather than strictly mechanical. Biology shows feedback loops where effects become new causes. Sacred geometry and numerology express creation through pattern, ratio, and numbers. Excuse me. Astrology and astronomy present cosmic cycles and symbolic timing systems. Alchemy, tarot, witchcraft, and iatromathematics interpret cause and effect through transformation, symbols, ritual, and healing order. And so, damn, we're like 40 minutes in this. All right. I'm going slow. All right, and so the sixth Hermetic principle of cause and effects teaches that reality operates through lawful chains of influence across multiple planes, and that what science calls probability, biology calls feedback, and esoteric calls correspondence, are different languages for the same deep structure of ordered becoming, right? And now, when you get into like symbolism and you can go down a whole bunch of freaking rabbit holes and like make sure you don't just believe everything. Make sure you do your research. Make sure it adds up. Make sure that you can add it up and then tear it apart and add it up again. Like that's science when you can do something over and over and over again, right? And so talking about symbolism, I tried to tell people 6 months ago, the year we are living in is a prophetic year. It's a new year, not like a new, oh, like every year is new year. This is a new year, right? A new year in a 7-year cycle or 9-year cycle. I guess a 9-year cycle. But nevertheless, yeah, it's got to be because 1 through 9 and then it starts over again. So yeah, it's a 9-year cycle, right? But this is the first, the birthing, the creation. So you practitioners that are creating anything, now is the time to create it. Now is the time to harvest it, or not harvest it, but cradle it and form it, and you know get it ready to put out there. And the reason I say that is because 2026, if you break it down into numerology and sacred geometry and all that fun stuff that we just talked about, right? You have 2026 as 10/1. 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 6 equals 10. 1 plus 0 equals 1. Now, if you guys, again, are familiar with numerology, you understand that 1 is the beginning, a fresh start, right? So when we reduce 2026 in numerology, 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 6, it equals 10. 1 plus 0 equals 1, giving us a 10-1, okay? A universal year vibration. Now, numerologically, that marked the birth of a new 9-year cycle for the collective. Oh, big old mosquito. Anyway, 2025 was a 9-year closed chapter. So now 2026 is a 1-year, which lights the first spark of a new story. So if you guys are planning something or creating something or starting something, now is the year to do it. It's not too late. You still got 6 months left, right? Start it, create it. In the words of Nike, just do it, right? Get it done. And so the symbolism of the 10-1, the 10 that turns into 1, because you just take the 0 off, because 1 plus 0 is still 1. When 10 reduces to 1, it becomes the original spark, the I am frequency that initiates identity, direction, and the new causation of Hermetic sense. And so you can think of 10 as the full effect of the last cycle, and 1 as the next cause that the moment cause and effect flip over and trade roles. So it goes from the 9 to the 1, because 10 again is 1. So in this way, 2026 is not just another year. It is the hinge where the old effects crystallize and the new causes are the chosen, the cause and effect. The Hermetic cause and effect in 2026, though the lens of the sixth Hermetic principle, a universal 1 year, is when the cosmos hands you back the chalk and says, now you write the next line in the casual chain. A 1 year amplifies initiative, leadership, and self-definition. We are invited to become conscious causes rather than unconscious effects of the past patterns. So, coming right after a 9 year release and completion, 2026 asks, what do you want to send me? Or what do you want to see now? Knowing what you plan this year becomes the cause of the next 9 years in effects. So for 2026, whatever you're planning this year, it's going to have a ripple effect. We're going to get into all that ripple effect and entropy, and like we'll get deeper into that. I don't want to get too deep into it now because these are just like simple laws for you to understand. I don't want to bombard you with too much. So anyway, 2026 numerology, lay it down right, is a new year of a 9 year cycle. Plan your stuff out. All you creators and all, whether you're game creators or First Amendment auditor creators or witchcraft, sorcery, magi creators, this is the year. Usually we do a ritual around like Octoberish, like around Halloween, right? And there's a whole symbolic thing about that as well, but it's thinning of the veil. But we'll get into all that later on down the line. So anyway, guys, I'm not gonna hold you up. It's been like 45 minutes and it's getting hot in this room. So this has been the cause and effects. Think about things before you do them. Think about things before you answer them. Think about things before you intentionally manifest them, because there is a cause and then there's an effect. Just like the polarity, swing to the right is a swing to the left. Same measure. So if you're out there doing evil shit, just know that evil shit is coming back to you. If you're a bad person, just know that you're gonna get plagued by bad people. If you're over there fucking people over, just know that people are gonna fuck you over. It's just the way it is. It's how it goes. It's karma, and she's a bad bitch. I've dealt with her a lot, right? Which is why I'm not so evil and I'm not the same person that I used to be, because I've had to deal a lot with karma and I don't like her, right? I don't like her. I like everything to be simple, which is why I don't lie, which is why I don't make my life hard, because I think about the effects. What I'm causing today is going to have an effect. I want them to be pleasurable, nice, memorizing, not, oh man, not this shit again. Why do I gotta go through this shit? Why I gotta keep going through this shit? Cause and effect, my friend. Cause and effect. You won't have to keep going through it if you stop causing it, right? All right, guys. And so I will see you next Thursday at 9:30 for the principle of gender, our last principle. Again, they all interconnect. I hope you liked it. Leave me a comment at the bottom and just have a blessed night. I'm out.
If you're a seeker of hidden truths, then you need to dive into the world of the occult. Journey with us through ancient tomes and cryptic symbols as we explore the esoteric arts, sorcery, hermetics, iatromathematics, astrology, and sacred geometry. These disciplines have shaped human history, whispering secrets to those brave enough to listen. Imagine the alchemist's laboratory, filled with mysterious instruments and bubbling elixirs, where science and magic converge to reveal the hidden laws of nature. Picture the astrologer's chart, mapping the heavens to uncover the cosmic influences on our lives. What did the ancients know that we have forgotten? How did they use sacred geometry to unlock the secrets of the universe? And what truths lie hidden in the mystical texts of Hermeticism? These questions beckon us, inviting us to delve deeper into the unknown. Join us as we unveil the mysteries of the occult, where every symbol has meaning and every number carries a hidden message. Unlock your inner potential, transform your reality, and embrace the cosmic journey of self-discovery. Are you ready to explore the arcane and transcend the ordinary? Welcome to the world of sorcery and occult secrets. Let's begin this mystical journey together.